You say that gender is a kind of imitation for which there is no original. If you were asked to design an origin for gender, what would it be?
Origin.
Noun. The point or place where something begins, arises, or is derived. Quote.
His theory of the origin of life.
Synonyms.
Beginning, start.
Origination.
Genesis, birth, dawning, dawn, emergence, inception, launch, creation, birthplace, cradle.
Early stages.
Conception, inauguration, foundation, outset, source, basis, base, cause, root.
Roots.
Spring, mainspring, wellhead, fountainhead, fountain, pond, head, seed, seed, germ, fons et origo.
Formal.
Commencement.
Literary.
Wellspring.
Rare.
Radix. Quote,
The origins of life and the physical universe.
source, derivation, root,
Roots.
provenance, etymology, provenience. Quote,
The Latin origin of the word. Antonyms.
and, conclusion, termination.
A person's social background or ancestry. Quote.
A family of peasant origin.
Synonym.
Descent, ancestry, parentage, pedigree, lineage, line.
Line of descent.
Heritage, birth, extraction, background, family, stock, blood, bloodline, genealogy.
Beginnings. Rare.
Filiation.
Derps. Quote.
His Scottish origins.
Darling, what is origin? I am myself an imitation of something that some say is in itself of questionable, dubious origin.
What is origin? Original?
But as for a design, the only design that I would deign to imagine, darling, is how I already perceive gender to be.
An authentic mimicry of what is already performed by persons all around me. You, him, her, us, them, in the same spaces as myself and away.
Digital and physical sources seduce me with their bodies, their physical gravity, their touch, their smell, their taste, their look when they look at me.
The way they fuck.
And through a seductive network of
Slippery, sensational, simultaneously sexy secretions.
of piss, shit, mucus, blood, fluids, baby.
Would you say that it is riskier to be absent or present when you are in love?
Do you prefer
A volcano?
or a vacuum?
Volcano.
Noun. A mountain or hill, typically conical, having a crater or vent through which lava, rock fragments, hot vapor and gas are or have been erupted from the Earth's crust.
A state or situation which is liable to erupt into anger or violence. Quote,
Claire had been building up a silent volcano of resentment.
Vacuum.
Noun. A space entirely devoid of matter. Empty space.
Emptiness, void, nothingness, vacuity, vacancy.
A space or container from which the air has been completely or partially removed. A gap left by the loss, death, or departure of someone or something significant. Quote,
The political vacuum left by the death of the emperor.
synonym.
Gap, space, absence, lack, defiancy, blank, lacuna. Quote,
His exit would leave a power vacuum. But when it comes to the eruptions and vacuums of love, the question that has to be asked is,
To be or not to be.
as I said, for me,
love is a constant negotiation between one, two, three, or plenty of principles, structures, forms, shapes, clusters of selves in all their messy, tangulous glory.
some of which are present, others absent. When it comes to the rude coming together of multiple presentations of selves, it is precisely this negotiation of the in-between, the oscillation between absence and presence, presence and absence, that every body must navigate.
What is your idea of utopia?
Succulent.
Of food.
Tender, juicy, and tasty. Quote,
A succulent steak.
juicy, moist, luscious, lush, fleshy, pulpy, soft, tender, fresh, ripe.
Choice, mouth-watering, appetizing, flavoursome, flavourful, tasty, delicious, delectable, palatable, toothsome. Informal.
Scrumptious, scrummy, yummy, moorish, finger-licking, delish.
Literary.
Ambrosial.
Rare.
Ambrosia, nectarious, nectarian, comestabile, flavorous, sapid. What is your utopia?
As a border-straddling princess, darling, I should be careful what you ask. Geography is such an outdated, power-grabbing concept. I should think we should have grown out of that by now.
However, the matter of the constant simultaneous simulation of arrivals and departures, for me, indeed, can be rather irksome and does nothing for one's hair or makeup.
Utopia for me, darling, is permission to stay where I am without the juggling of screens and seams and seams and conventions and restrictions and contravening vocabularies.
I just like having my feet massaged by a handsome boy of any gender. What happens to desire when the cameras are switched off? When the cameras goes off, you're all alone.
And you wait
You wait for your nails to dry.
for the strongest, most powerful one ever,
You wait.
until the end of the performance.